Hello, beautifuls. It's Charlotte here with Dragonfly Soul Healing. I just got home from the new moon circle and it was so magical, as are all the meditations and circles we've been doing lately. And, it's just so, there he is. We're starting already. So magical, right? We are just moving such big energy in these circles. They're just like, so good. So we've been going through a huge theme of death and rebirth and beginning again. But tonight was really about relearning who we are. And so through this death and destruction that's coming into many people's worlds, I feel like there's not many people that are escaping this frequency. Depending on where you're at and how much work you're doing will depend on how that is affecting you and how deeply it's going to be affecting you as well. So huge changes are coming forward at this time, and it's really asking us if we're stepping in our mission, if we're being authentic to ourselves, if we're being genuine and allowing that death to come in. Are we fighting that death and creating chaos in our worlds because of this refusing to let go? One of the biggest things that I've been seeing in these circles and connecting with so many people is that the more that you do your work and the more you really invest in yourself, the more change that's coming forward for these people. And as the light workers here, you're not usually going to draw to my page unless you are some kind of light worker. We are really being asked to stand in our power right now and shine that light and show people that it is possible to shift and change your life, your frequency, your tones. You don't have to be the person you were yesterday if that's not what's in alignment for you. And that's a huge theme that's coming up. So in the circle today, we really went deep in and released heavy bindings that had kept us in that ancestral trauma and those karmic loops that aren't ours to carry. We came here to help heal that ancestral line. And as we evolve and heal and change and continue to be the black sheep of the family, and we keep seeing the truth for what it is on this earth plane, the more we're able to break free of those chains. And so that was what we did tonight, is we went to the moon and we actually released those chains, keeping us stuck out there and stuck in those karmic lines. It's really much deeper than what I would have tapped into in the circle, because I was just holding the container from the stuff that I'm seeing recently. And so it was more about not the deep stuff of it, but just the releasing of it. And so there's a lot of things tied to the moon and tags that we hold in our fields, forced breeding. It's where we're seeing a lot of this narcissist stuff, and I will post a video that I seen that I watched that really tied into this and gave me a lot of confirmation of what I was feeling and really questioning and seeing the patterning showing up as well. So one of the biggest themes, what I'm seeing is a lot of narcissist deconstruction happening right now. It's everywhere. You're seeing it everywhere. We aren't really having to do much work tied to these energies. They're just karmically happening themselves. However, if we're still in those circumstances, relationships, or have those beings, those types of energies coming into our field, we're kind of being asked to shine a light right now on just whatever's taking place if we see an injustice, but we don't need to do too much in the physical. And so this is a big thing that I'm witnessing is there's a few things and there's some steps and there's paperworks that need to be done for some and many of you. Just from the theme I'm seeing with many people, clients, friends, family members that I don't really even talk too much, also going through similar things. So it's happening to not only the light workers, but the unawakened, the very basic humans, all of them. So, I mean, the first card that falls out here is the Five of Swords. And this one here is about, you know, maybe somebody feels like they're getting a victory, but what did it cost them? And so I feel like this is kind of that tie to these narcissistic energies that are being deconstructed, is like they're kind of like, yeah, I got all the swords. That's right. All 5. Right? But now I have nobody to help me carry this burden. And so what's happening is they've created this monster in themselves. And it's why we're not having to do much of anything. Right? And so wherever there's a trigger and wherever we're kind of stuck in those loops, what needs to be healed and shifted to kind of move out of that, because this is what we're leaving, right? But this isn't us necessarily going through this. However, we do have to be very mindful of our words and how we're doing things. And so this is another big thing I'm seeing is, listen, that deconstruction happens so fast when you release ties and control with those narcissists. And I really didn't think I was coming on to talk about this, but I know it's been a huge theme for a couple months now. Really big. I've really been deconstructing all of the ties that I've had. So I started right with a mother who was narcissistic. And so my whole life, all the partners that I had, and many friends, many people throughout, right? Didn't matter if it was people that I worked with, people that I rented off of, people that, you know, were just in it. Like I had a constant stream of this energy coming forward, and I've really been deconstructing that. So it's been about 3 months. I've lived in this apartment for 3 months. And the second that I moved into this apartment, every single aspect of myself that hadn't healed those narcissistic tendencies were brought to the surface. And not just from this apartment, but it was just like once I shifted my energy to the next level of like, okay, if I want to decide that I'm worth more and that I'm ready to go to the next level and really step in my power a little bit more and start holding containers for 10 plus people so that they can all astral travel and really heal deep-seated wounds, I have to do that first. And so it's been intense and maybe not necessarily always fun, but the more that I was able to pull away from that really human story, the more I could see that bigger picture and the work that needed to be done, and the downloads that I was getting where we are drawing in partners similar to our parents. And so that was one of the big downloads, is I was constantly drawing in masculines similar to my father, who chose other women over me, right? So having a different family, when I was growing up, I was constantly seeking a masculine that would choose other women over me because I was recreating the story. In sense going, see, I can prove to you that this is never going to stop, right? It was me, like, in a way, almost punishing self, which was like one of the biggest downloads that came in just yesterday. Many of us have fought a lot of wars, not just on this earth plane, but outside in other planets and galaxies. And I know that I'm not the only one. And this is why we have such a strong call to that injustice that's happening on this earth plane, because we've seen it and witnessed it happen on other frequencies, other planets, other dimensions. And so when we watch these energies come in and try and dominate and bully and manipulate their way in to become this winner, right now I got all the swords. Yeah, but what do you have? Because these guys are better off. They're off to that water to go tie and work with them emotional triggers that came up because of this wounding, right? You didn't get these swords for free. You had to do something to create that. And so part of what I was doing was punishing myself on this earth plane because I felt guilty for the wars that I had been part of. Because our souls are struggling at times to see that what we were doing was for the highest good of all, to help protect those that couldn't protect themselves. But we deserve to have a calmer, more neutral life, and we don't need to fight the way we once thought we did. And this was a huge activation that I got from Valerie, one of our new practitioners at the Gypsy Moon, and it was really showing me that I have a lot of disruptor codes, a lot of destroyer codes. So when I go places, I'm like burning shit and pulling it apart. And those in Saskatchewan, who live in Saskatchewan, can kind of see. I went back home the end of January and I went in there like a fucking wrecking ball, and my goal was to really disrupt the energy there. And over the 6 months since I've been home, you can see how even if you look at the end of January for anywhere, wherever you're from, there was a huge shift. And so we come in and we disrupt these things and we blow shit up and we expose truths and we do all these things. We're doing it because this is that typical energy. And what I'm being shown more now is the more that I release and heal these deep-seated wounds and allow this like spiritual warrior to come in more as an awakener than a fighter, it's going to shift the way that we activate and evolve and shift the people. So one of the big things that is coming up is if we awaken the people, each person we awaken has the opportunity to also shift and give activations and downloads to 100 people, 1,000 people, depending on what they do and where they go with it. We can move a lot more energy if we are waking up and focusing on the solution instead of the problem. And so over this last 6-8 months, maybe even a little bit longer, as I was deconstructing and blowing shit up and really creating a bit of an energetic mess for a lot of energies, I needed to learn that deep stuff to see how it works, to see how easily hijacked you can get when you start playing with those energies, how dark things can go if you go too far and you get too warrior about it. I got to experience a lot of things over this last year, and because of all those experiences, I'm able to hold space for all these people to really go so deep on their healing journey. And in these circles that we've been doing this last 6 months with the moons and just recently starting these quantum witch circles, is we're taking people and really activating them and showing them how to heal themselves and that it's possible to shift from these human programs. And that's the purpose. That's the mission. It's not about exposing the truth. It's like the more you just stand authentically in yourself, the more those truths just come to the surface and you shine a light and create that mirror. And so while we're dealing with this deconstruction of these narcissists and a lot of these truths being exposed, it's going to be uncomfortable because we are going to have to stand in our integrity, and we are going to have to do what's right for that justice and that balance. And so while things may be a little bit uncomfortable over this next, few weeks or so, July feels like it's going to kind of come in like a bit of a wrecking ball. But here's the thing, the Ten of Pentacles came out as well, which is really creating all of those wishes you desire. And it feels like each one of these pentacles is kind of some part of what you were hoping for to come true, to come to life. Today was the new moon. So we're creating wishes, right? Manifesting what we'd like to see our lives look like in the next coming weeks and months. And so this stuff's deconstructing while we're creating this. And this is why it's so important to get on mission, get on path, because it is in us really doing that work that this stuff goes through much quicker. So I'm going to leave it there because I only got a couple more minutes on my camera. It's like a serious issue I have every damn time. But here's the thing. There's going to be so many changes coming over the next 6 to 8 weeks. I'm kind of being told right now 6 to 8 weeks. You're not even going to see, like this person you are right now is not even going to be the person you are 8 weeks from now. And come the end of the year, I can't even tell you. Everything's going to be so different. And, we're just going to keep working and healing and activating everybody we can. The major life changes here from my reset this morning, Uranus, with the love and relationships, heart chakra. A lot of stuff in the heart chakra today. It took me quite a while to kind of move the energy in that heart, as well as the solar plexus. So we're really starting to heal those relationships, healing that heart. So yes, this Sunday we are doing another quantum circle. Every Sunday we're going to be there, Rose and I, and we're working on the ley lines. We're going to start healing the ley lines on Sunday, working with the Pleiadians as well, which is an interesting combo. So we're going to help use their loving magic to infuse those ley lines and start resetting and awakening and calling those people in. So if that's something you're drawn to and you're out in the Salmon Arm area, I encourage you to join us. Lots of magical stuff. I see July 10th, I have written down healing relationships, and the bear energy is coming out for that week. So that's July 10th. But July 3rd, this weekend, is that ley line healing with the Pleiadians. So that's going to be really powerful. I can feel it already. I started working on it today with the group. Got us gridding the earth before we finished our meditation. So that was pretty cool. I love how these meditations are evolving and how magical and powerful they are. And with each different energy that comes forward, you all bring a unique energy and frequency to it. So it's been so much fun, and I'm enjoying every second of it. And I will leave you guys there. So you got this. Big things are changing. Be flexible, right? Be flexible. That willow spirit. And I will chat with you guys again soon. Take care.